everyone, welcome to another episode of Immigration for All presented by Noura Global. For today's session, I'm your host 𝐎𝐩𝐩𝐨𝐵𝐵. This session will also podcast in Spotify and Apple Podcast. For today's session, our topic is Pathways to the U.S. Immigration Opportunities for Iranians. This session will be held bilingual for your convenience. I would like to remind you, if you have any question or comments, please share them with us through the comment box. Feel free to write your comments either in English or Persian. سلام عرض میکنم خدمت دوستان فارسی زبانی که به جمع ما پیوستن. بنده مرضیه فراهانیفر هستم، میزبان امروز این برنامه. موضوع امروز ما فرصت‌های مهاجرت ایرانیان به ایالات متحده است. آقای راجو مهاجان مهمان برنامه امروز ما هستند که در خصوص موضوع این برنامه ابتدا توضیحاتی ارائه خواهند کرد و بعد از اون به سوالات شما عزیزان پاسخ خواهیم داد. اگر سوالی دارین میتونین به زبان فارسی یا انگلیسی در قسمت کامنت ها برامون بنویسین. بریم سراغ موضوع امروز برنامه. Let's welcome our guest speaker, Mr. Raju Mahajan, the principal attorney of Raju Law.
Hi, good morning, Margia. How are you?
Hello, Mr. Mahajan. Thank you very much. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you.
We are all excited for today's topic.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. Please proceed with today's topic.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to see the PowerPoint. All right. So thank you everyone for joining today. As you know, our today's topic is U.S. immigration for Iranians. And the reason we are paying like a special attention to this topic is because there's a misconception that U.S., it is very difficult for Iranians to get U.S. green card or come to America as an international student or visit visa, which is not 100% true. Of course, there are some technical problems. There is no U.S. embassy in Iran, so that creates a extra layer of problems. At the same time, there are some hostile relationship between U.S. government and Iranian government. So, those are bigger problems. We cannot address those issues as a U.S. attorney, but we as a U.S. attorney, what we try to do, if there is any Iranian person, they want to come to America to, either study as an international student or come to America to do business under, B1, B2 visa, or apply for any kind of green card applications like, EB1, NIW, we can definitely help you. And of course, considering all the challenges, we are here to help you. That's why we are paying a special attention today for Iranians. And, if you have any questions, you can always ask us. We will answer it here. If not, you can also email us. And Margia, she's our off counsel. She's a lawyer. She's a lawyer in UK-based Iranian lawyer. So you can also reach out to her. She can be our bridge between Iranian communities and us. So that's why we choose this topic, U.S. immigration for Iranians. So without further delay, I would like to go to the next slide. All right. So, there are some facts I would like to share with you. From January to May of 2024, the U.S. DOS, Department of State, issued 588 F1 visas to Iranian students. So, there's almost 600 students. And even before that, there was even more student visa issued to Iranians. So there's a lot of international students studying in America in different universities, colleges. So it is not true that America do not issue visas to Iranians. There's a lot of Iranians coming. And this is just January to May, within 4 or 5 months. And around the year, it's even like a larger amount. And if I consider other visas, like, B1, B2 and other visas, there's even a larger amount of Iranian coming to America. Another fact, as of January 2025, Iran was the 5th country with the most EB2 NIW approvals in 2024, with 397 approvals out of 1,131 petitions. This is a 35% approval rate. Even though you can say, oh, it's only 35%, but trust me, if I consider the entire NIW world, 35% approval rate is pretty good, because literally thousands and thousands of applicants, they apply to USCIS under EB2 NIW categories from all over the world, and 35% approval rate is pretty good number. So this is another very good chance for Iranians who would like to come to America with a green card in your hand. So EB2 NIW is a really good tool. Also, so in 2024, there were 66,677 EB1 approvals. This number is not for Iranian sources, like all over the world. But the reason I put this number here is because EB1 is another very good option for Iranians. You know, a lot of Iranian soccer player, you definitely qualify for that. Iran has a lot of filmmakers. So if you're an Iranian filmmaker, if you want to come to America, to work as a filmmaker or any kind of, media industry, EB1A is a really good tool for you, application topic for you. That's why I put it here. So let's go to the next slide. All right. At the same time, there is a big issue. As I said earlier, that there is no U.S. embassy in Iran. Swiss embassy, they represent America in Iran. At the same time, America has a virtual embassy, meaning like it's an online kind of university. You can reach out to U.S. embassy online. They provide services. However, if you want to apply for student visa or any kind of non-immigrant visa, you need to go to a neighboring country. You need to go to either Dubai or Turkey, Armenia, and few other countries. And same as for immigrant visas, like for green card applications, if anyone apply for green card for you, you need to go to either United Arab Emirates or Armenia or Turkey to face the visa. So that creates a kind of like a backlog. At the same time, we already know that there is not a good relationship between Iranian government and American government. So American agencies like FBI and USCIS, Homeland Security, they try to check background for everybody who is coming from Iran, which is okay. However, many times we see that there's a long waiting period. There's a totally unnecessary long waiting period, even though that person has no connection with Iranian government or anything. USCIS takes forever to issue a visa or even deny a visa. Whether USCIS will issue a visa or deny a visa, that's their discretion. We have nothing to say. However, sometimes they will keep you hanging for a long time. That is a bad thing. So to address that long waiting period, there is a tool, there is a law, it's called writ of mandamus. This is a really, really helpful media to resolve like in a long waiting period. And writ of mandamus is not actually an immigration matter. It's an administrative law. The rule is, if there is any American government agency, and that can be state government, federal government, even municipal government, and if they take longer than usual time to address your problem, to provide you service, then you can file a writ of mandamus in a federal district court, and then the federal district court will tell that organization, that agency, that hey, whether you will approve this or deny it is your matter. However, do it fast, do it quickly. So we use this administrative procedural law in the sector of immigration. Let me give you an example. So let's say you are an Iranian student, you got admission to American university, you applied for a student visa, and USCIS or embassy, they are taking forever. They took more than 6 months to either issue or deny you a visa. Then you can file a writ of mandamus. And we are very proud to say that our writ of mandamus success rate is very high, like more than 99%. But I must tell you one thing. Success rate of mandamus doesn't automatically mean that your case would be approved, your visa would be approved. The entire point of writ of mandamus is to expedite your procedure, expedite your visa application. So let me give you a scenario. So let's say you applied for a student visa, you have been waiting for more than 6 months, and then you filed writ of mandamus, and embassy denied your visa. That's okay. That's also the outcome of writ of mandamus. Writ of mandamus do not guarantee you the approval of the visa. However, based on our experience, in more than 90% cases, when someone files writ of mandamus, they have chance of getting it approved. Doesn't mean that your one will be automatically approved, but there's a more than 90% chance. And the reason is, if the embassy had enough information to deny your visa, they would do it earlier anyway. The reason that they are not taking any action, the reason your case is pending, meaning they do not have enough information to deny your visa. That's why when we file writ of mandamus, when we push it a little bit, USCIS or embassy has no other option other than approving it. That's why writ of mandamus is really great tool. Not only expedite your case, not only expedite your visa application, but also to get it approved. So if you need any help with writ of mandamus, you can always reach out to us. As I said, it's a federal lawsuit. There is no negative consequences. One of the very common question I receive when I talk about writ of mandamus, hey, I'm going to file lawsuit against US government. Will they be mad? Are they going to take any negative action? Is there any negative consequences? The answer is no. America is land of law. Everybody is within the law. So if you take any legal remedy for your problem, that is even a good thing. It shows that you like America's rule of law. You like America's judiciary system as an institute. So it is actually a better thing for you to file a lawsuit. There is no negative consequences at all. Now, many people ask me question, hey, how long I should wait before I file a writ of mandamus? So it depends on many factors. So for our firm, I kind of developed a waiting period. So for F1 visa application, if you have been waiting for more than 6 months, go ahead, file writ of mandamus. For B1, B2 application, if you are waiting for more than 1 year, go ahead, file for writ of mandamus. For H1B, O1, L1, this kind of employment based, I recommend 4 months. If you're waiting for more than 4 months, you can apply for file writ of mandamus. For family-based applications, green card applications, I say that wait at least 2 years after your file is documentarily qualified. When you get the DQ notice and then you have been waiting for more than 2 years, then yes, file writ of mandamus. So it depends on the situation, it depends on the country, depends on the categories, but writ of mandamus is a really great tool if you have been waiting for a long time and USCIS or the embassy did not take any action. And I'm very proud to say that we have a lot of experience about writ of mandamus. Next slide, please. All right. So, this is the last slide before we go for question answer with Margia. So one of the most common, media of green card application nowadays is EB2 NIW and EB1. And of course, Iranians, they also qualify for this too. Because Iranians are very educated. There's a lot of good universities in Iran, and trust me, American government, especially scientific communities, they really value Iranian institutes degree. I talked to a lot of professors and thesis supervisors. They mentioned about 2 countries. One is South Korea. They really value South Korea's degree, and they also value Iran's degree. Of course, American relationship with South Korea is way better than American relationship with Iran. However, Iranian institute's degree is really valued here very well. Even if you have some Iranian work experience, non-governmental work experience, that will also carry some good value for you. So NIW is really a good tool for you. So, I'm not going that deep into NIW discussion here. That's not the point of our presentation today. However, let me tell you a few things. When you apply for NIW, please pay special attention to 2 things. Number one, national interest. NIW stands for National Interest Waiver of the United States of America. So whatever you do, whatever you say, you have to establish that your work is going to benefit America's national interest. If you can establish with that, then you have a better chance of getting NIW approved. At the same time, proposed endeavor. Proposed endeavor is the backbone, the head of the entire NIW application. So please pay attention to proposed endeavor, and please pay attention to the national interest part. And I have multiple videos about proposed endeavor, and videos and audios about proposed endeavor and national interest part. So please listen to those audio, watch that video. You'll have a better understanding, and I hope you guys will get a positive outcome from your NIW application. Similarly, EB1 is a great tool. So there are 10 criterias. If you met 3 of the 10 criterias, then you can apply for EB1A. However, I tell my clients, like, just meeting 3 would be a little risky, because sometimes what happens is we submit a case to USCIS and we say that our client meet criteria 1, criteria 2, and criteria 3, and then USCIS will say, nope, he doesn't meet criteria 2, or he doesn't meet criteria 3, or criteria 1. So if they deny 1 criteria, then your case would be denied. That's why what I advise my clients, try to meet at least 5 criteria before you apply for EB1A. And if you say that, hey, I'm not ready for 5 criteria at this moment, my advice is wait for it. You do not have to hurry about anything. US immigration is a long journey. Take your time, get ready, and then apply. is better for you, because if you apply now without being properly prepared, you will lose some money, time, and energy. I do not want you to lose your money, time, and energy. Take your time, get ready, prepare your case, and then you apply for EB1A. I'm not going that detail into EB1's 10 criteria. I have multiple videos about that, videos and audios. But just to let you know that EB1As are usually extraordinary people in their field. So let's say if you are an Iranian movie star or like a director, cinematographer kind of person, or if you are an Iranian gymnast or soccer player kind of person, even if you're an extraordinary person in your scientific field. So if you're a STEM professional, right? If you're like, scientist and you're an extraordinary person in your field, you can also apply for EB1A. We have a lot of EB1A clients from India. They're tech people. They work for Google, Microsoft, Meta kind of companies, and they can easily meet. This morning I had a meeting with one of our EB1 clients. His case just got approved. He was very happy, so he took an appointment from me just to give me thank you. So that's our discussion for NIW and EB1. So thank you very much for your time, and I'm going back to Margia, and so we're going to have question answer session now.
Thank you, Mr. Majan, for your presentation. I want to ask you a question, because the most question that people ask me is about Trump ban. As you remember, the last time that Trump was president, we had Muslim ban, including Iranian. Can you explain what's the situation this time?
Yeah, thank you very much. So that Muslim ban, it was so, initially it was defined very widely. And then based on the lawsuit and many other things, it is so narrow at this moment. Only a very small amount of Iranian people, they are subject to ban even at this moment. As I said, last 4 years of Biden administration, there was a lot of Iranians coming to America. So my advice to the people of Iran, unless you are directly affiliated with Iranian government, you do not have to worry about that. Another information I must tell here is, I thought about I put that in the presentation, but I forget that. So a lot of time, many of my clients, especially from those who are from Iran or any country that is not a lot of Russian people, they ask me the same question, like, hey, how do I know whether American government has any information, like any bad information about me? Like, let's say you are a Russian person, you are a Russian professor or someone, you want to know if American government has any bad information about you. So the best way to do that, there's the application, it's called FOIA, FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. Under FOIA, we can submit an application to any US departments, any US government offices, and say, hey, Mr. X or Miss Y is my client. He or she wants to know and get a copy of all the information, all the document about him that you have. So when we submit this application, US government is bound to send us the entire file, copy of the entire file to us, even including, so let's say you had an interview in a US embassy in Moscow, or let's say you are an Iranian person, you had an interview in US embassy Turkey. Even the officer who took note in the interview, the copy of that note is also included with that file. So we can get a lot of information. However, if there is any sensitive national security information, they will block it with black ink. So in that case, we know that they have something bad that they even cannot share with us. But other than that, we can get the entire file. So this is the best way. So if any Iranian person or anybody who is worried, like even like someone from India, India has a very good relationship with America, or someone from, let's say, Germany or France, if they want to know whether American government has any bad information about them, they can file FOIA application and we can help them get a copy of that. So that is the way to know. But other than that, that Muslim ban has no big impact. A lot of Iranian people, they're coming every day. The only people they will be probably excluded is those who are officially and actively involved with Iranian government.
Yeah, thank you very much. I have another question too. As you know,
before I go to your question, there's a person, he wrote in Bengali language, my first language.
Yeah, it's not Persian or English.
Yeah, it's not Persian, so you cannot read it. Let me read it, let me answer it, then I'll go back to your question.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, he said, আমি F1 স্ট্যাটাসে আছি 2024 ডিসেম্বরে আমি অ্যাসাইলাম অ্যাপ্লাই করে ফিঙ্গারপ্রিন্ট দেয়া শেষ। এখন আমার কলেজ বাদ দিলে বা টার্মিনেট হলে আইস থেকে কি কোনো ট্রাবল ফেস করতে হবে, আমার কি কোনো ভয় আছে? Let me translate his question to English and then I'm answering the question. So he said he applied for asylum in December 2024 and his fingerprint is also done. So and also he was in a student visa when he applied for asylum. So his question is, if he terminate student status at this moment, meaning if he leave school at this moment, will ICE create any problem for him or her? The short answer is no. Since your asylum application is pending, you have a valid stay here in America, not valid status, valid stay here in America. So what I advise you to do that, keep a copy of your asylum application receipt notice, the receipt notice, and if you have an attorney, you have a G28. You have the form of G28 indicates that you have attorney's name, phone number, email address, signature is there. Your name, phone number, email address, signature is there. So keep a copy of your G28 form and keep a copy of the receipt notice with you. Like it's just a photocopy is enough. So with you in your wallet and in your pocket all the time. So if anywhere ICE stops you, you say that, hey, my asylum application is pending, this is my receipt notice, this is my G28, and I do not want to talk about anything else. And do not talk anything if your attorney is not present. That will create some problems. So if you keep these two documents with you all the time, you're good, no problem at all. So that was the question and answer. Marja, going back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Majan. My question was about compulsory military service. As you know, no person choose where to give this service, and if the person are giving service to 𝐶IPA, it's a problem for them. Do you have any information about this?
Yeah, so this is a very subjective kind of matter. A lot of time we have similar kind of situations in many other countries, like many countries, they have mandatory compulsory military service, and people has no choice but to join that. So in that case, we submit a letter explaining the situation that my client, Mr. X or Miss Y, he or she has no intention of joining the Iranian military or something. It was mandatory, and if they would try to avoid it, it would be life threat for them. And his job as a mandatory military service was just a basic minimum involvement. He or she was not involved with any policy making, was not involved with any like trying to stop any protest or anything. So he or she did not do anything that is anti-democracy, anti-freedom of speech, anti-human rights, and it was like a mandatory minimum kind of involvement. So many times USCIS, they consider it based on case by case, and so this is not a big problem unless it is really a small involvement.
Thank you very much. Thank you. As you mentioned in the beginning, there is no American embassy in Iran. So Iranian must go to other countries, neighbor countries, to apply and go for their interview. Due to your experience, how long usually it takes time for Iranian, because there's no direct way for them? How long it takes time for them in different visa type?
Yeah, so it depends. It depends on the country. It depends how long it takes just to go there. So what I advise to my clients is kind of like prepare early. So let's say you are applying for a student visa. So you will start submitting your application to different universities. The time you are applying for different universities, at the same time try to apply for visa for United Arab Emirates or Turkey or Armenia, so that you have to go to that country to face. And so as soon as so let's say you already have a Turkish visa, or you already have a UAE visa or Armenian visa, so you know which country you're going to face the interview. So as soon as you get the approval from the university, and as soon as you pay the service fee, you apply for the visa. So yes, sometime it takes longer because all the background check and other things. So I would also tell my university that, hey, I'm from Iran, you already know that there's some situation, so I may need to defer my application to next semester. And most universities will be very okay with that. So let me give you an example. So let's say you apply to ABC, let's say Harvard University, I'm just giving an example. So let's say you apply to Harvard University in December of 2024, and then they give you offer letter like I-20 in January 2025, and then you paid the service fee and everything by February, and you applied for visa. Let's say you applied for a student visa in Turkey. At the same time, tell your university that, hey, I applied for this, but my application may take longer than other countries. So in case if I need to defer my application from fall 2025 to spring 2026, will you be okay with that? Most universities say, yeah, that's okay. So kind of like, keep in touch, but there is no fixed time. If student visa application goes beyond 6 months after you submit your all documents and application, then you can of course file writ of mandamus.
Thank you very much. Do you recommend any neighbor country which is better than the other?
No, I do not. I mean, it depends on the person. So let's say, yeah, probably Turkey would be a little better, because I think Turkish relationship with Iran is good. So Turkey is the kind of country like who has good relationship with both America and Iran. So Turkey would be probably a good country, but it depends. Armenia is probably not. They don't have as good as Turkey relationship. Dubai has a very good, like UAE has a good relationship with America, but they not have good relationship with Iran. So it depends on the person. I do not have any preference, but I think Turkey would be better.
Yeah, also Iranian doesn't need visa for Turkey, so maybe it's easier for them. Thank you.
It's easy for them, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. You mentioned to filmmakers and athletes, and as I remember from our last session, you said there are some ways which are not immigrant visa. It's like having extraordinary talent, extraordinary ability. Do we have any option for Iranians who are athletes or filmmaker, but they don't have extraordinary ability, or they are a group of filmmaking or a group of music?
Yeah, so last week our presentation was for non-immigrant categories, and we mentioned that we'll have another video, another presentation for immigrant categories. So for EB1A, if they're extraordinary ability person, EB1A, you can apply by yourself. You do not need a job. You do not need an agent or a job here in America. But for most non-immigrant categories, like P categories, O categories, you need a job here. So let's say you are a very good soccer player, you have to have a contract with the American soccer team, and the soccer team must sponsor you. So it's sometimes it's a little difficult. Sometimes, so all you have to do is you have to find the agent. Most of the teams have their own recruiting agent. So you have to reach out to agent. You have to show your ability, and then they can process the application.
Thank you. I want to ask you a similar question about EB2 and IW, as EB2, as I know, are job offer based, but NIW doesn't need a job offer. So
yeah. NIW and EB1A, none of this requires any job.
Oh, both of them.
Both of them.
So the issue that I want to ask about it is that most of Iranian that ask me question, they may be not academic person, but they have lots of experience in their job area. For example, 10 years, 15 years experience, and they are expert actually. Can we apply for them too?
Yes. So, however, I personally recommend having at least a master's degree. Because the reason having a master's degree is good is, at the end of the day, we have to establish that it is in the American national interest to bring you here. So USCIS, they really love the word research. If we can show that you're going to do some research, they will like it better. So that's why. So let's say you have a master's degree, you have 10 years or 12 years or 15 years experience in your field. In your NIW application, you can show that you're going to work as a research and development officer, R&D officer in a company here, or even you can start your own initiative as an R&D person or research person. So even though you do not have any PhD degree or academic background, that's totally okay. If you have a master's degree and long experience, you can present yourself as a R&D person. And so that the best way to write the proposed endeavor is that you have to find a problem in that industry. So let me give you an example. So let's say you have long experience in petroleum engineering, and you have a master's degree in petroleum engineering. Then you find a problem in America in petroleum engineering, and you say that once you are here under EB2 NIW, you are going to do research in that field, and you're going to find a solution, and that solution will be implemented not only by your company but also all the companies in America. So it will be a bigger impact on America. It will be good for America's national interest. So yes, people with work experience, they can apply, but I recommend applying with a master's degree. If someone has just a bachelor degree and then work experience, sometimes it's weaker, because with a simple bachelor degree, it's very hard to establish that you're going to do research.
So based on their experience, we need a business plan, do we?
No, let me address that issue in a minute. Let me answer this question. So one said, what if an asylee want to work in cash before he receives work permit or SSN if he has legal entry to the US? So let me answer it. Once someone apply for asylum, he has a valid stay. He doesn't, it's not a question of legal entry. Legal entry is how you entered here. If you came here with a F1 visa or B1 B2 visa, that's a legal entry. If you came to southern border without any inspection, that's the illegal entry. That's a totally different thing. For the purpose of asylum, as soon as you apply for asylum, you have a valid stay. That's all you have, and that is enough. ICE cannot arrest you if you have a valid stay. Now the question is whether you can work. No, you cannot work because you do not have a work authorization. Valid stay do not come with an automatic work permit. You have to apply for work permit. You have to get it approved. Only then you are allowed to work. So if you do work without authorization, that's a separate kind of issue, but you cannot do that. That's the answer. Now, Margie, I'm going back to your original question, the business plan. So when people apply for NIW, usually there are three ways to present the case. One, as a researcher, and of course that person can be a PhD holder or postdoc or academician, professor. It's easy for them to present themselves as a researcher, which is the best option. The second best option is, as I said, as a R&D officer. You're working, you're not a researcher, you're not an academician, but your work is more of a research and development kind of work. So basically you're working for R&D department. That's the second best, because still we can show national interest for America. The third option is business plan. The reason it's third option is because, and it's also less effective option, because when you take any business initiative, it's very difficult to make an impact for all over the America, unless it is like Uber. Uber has an impact all over the America. Airbnb has an impact all over the America. But if you start a restaurant or a consulting firm or even an agricultural firm, that will not have impact all over the America. So those who apply for NIW based on business plan, first of all, I request them to see if there's any way they can apply for research or R&D. If they cannot do that, then yes, business option is the last one. But try to come up with a business idea that will have impact all over the America. Because at the end of the day, we have to show that your work is going to protect America's national interest, not interest of a small state. Let's say if you say that I'm going to open a restaurant in New York City for, let's say, Iranian food, the only people who are going to benefit is in that community, not even the entire city. So it's very hard for me to establish that you are going to do something that would be America's national interest. So yes, business plan based application is okay, but it has a less chance of getting approved.
Okay. We have a question from a Canadian citizen here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm a Canadian citizen living in Canada and looking to move to the USA. What is the best option for me? So this is a very common question I receive, and not for Canada, for everybody. So American immigration system is not country specific. It's mostly background specific. If you're a doctor, you have a separate procedure to come to America. If you're an engineer, you have a specific. For lawyers, scientists, athletes, movie actor, actress, everybody has their own path. So it depends on the path. It depends on background, which background is good for you. And so if you do not know which background is good for you, the short way is to Google it. Like if you say, hey, I am a doctor in Canada, which option is best for me to immigrate to USA? So the Google will give you a short answer. And then if you just copy that route and then Google it more, or go to YouTube, I have a lot of videos, other lawyers have a lot of videos, then you can know more about that specific route. But it doesn't come automatically with being a Canadian. The only thing being a Canadian helps is there is a specific visa category. It's called TN visa, It's for America, Canada, and Mexico. It's like a North American treaty under NAFTA. But for TN visa, you have to get a job here in America, and the American company is going to sponsor you. No matter what is your background, if you're a doctor, engineer, or lawyer, if an American company sponsors you, being a Canadian citizen, you get some benefit, but not a lot.
Thank you. Mr. Majan, the other group of people that ask me questions about immigration are startup owners. As you mentioned, most of Iranian are well educated and they are good at technology. So we have lots of good startups based on AI or new technologies, but they feel that it's very difficult to move to the US by their startup. Is there any way for startups to go through EB to NIW or other way?
So what I would recommend that is, first start your startup here in America. And you can, if you want to start a business in America, you don't even have to come here. You can start your business from Iran or anywhere in the world.
Yeah, most of them are like this. They have started at least working for 2-3 years and they have a product.
Okay, good. If they already have a product and they have good thing, then there are multiple options. NIW is one of the options. However, I would still focus on research and development. I would not just say selling product, because establishing America's national interest just by selling product would be very difficult for attorneys to establish as a national interest waiver. So can you give me one example, like what kind of product they're doing?
Like medical product, scanning for chest cancer or other cancer.
So that would be a good thing. So let's say they're making a device, for cancer treatment or something. So if they say, I already made the device, I'm going to sell it, unless it is really, really something extraordinary, it would be difficult to show national interest. But I would do this way. Hey, I have a medical device company. I developed this machine and I'm going to do more research and development. So after 3 years or 4 years, this machine would be something even bigger. And not only my company will sell it, but also all other medical device companies will use my technology. So they're kind of selling the technology, not the device. And the technology, like the research, will be implemented by all the companies. Then it will have a national importance.
So you recommend them go through NIW from R&D process?
From R&D process, yes.
That's good. Thank you very much. We don't have any other comments here. Thank you, Mr. Majan, for answering the questions. And thank you everyone.
As you said, like today our video was presentation was for Iranian. We'll do more presentation for Iranian down the line. So if they have any question, they can reach out to us later too.
Thank you. Dear audiences, thank you so much for attending. Next week, we have another live session during the same time, which is 11 a.m. Eastern Time and Bangladesh time, 10 p.m. Till then, we have a great week. Before we wrap up, we would like to give a quick glance to the major immigration news of this week.
Welcome to the latest episode of Weekly Immigration News by Raju Law. This week, we brought to you 4 latest developments in the immigration arena. Let's start with the headlines. Update on Form I-134A. 956 arrests due to Trump's immigration crackdown. US says system maintenance on 5 to 6 February. Trump signs Laken-Riley Act. Let's get into details. USCIS has temporarily stopped accepting Form I-134A in response to the executive order on border security issued on January 20, 2025. This pause is intended to facilitate a thorough review of all categorical parole processes as required by the order. Next up, nationwide immigration raids on 26 January led to 956 arrests, the highest since Trump's return, per ICE. Raids occurred in cities like Chicago, Newark, and Miami. The White House denies quotas but backs Trump's reputation agenda. Moving on, USCIS has announced system maintenance for the Contact Relationship Interface System on Wednesday, February 5, 2025, starting at 11:50 p.m. and ending on Thursday, February 6, 2025 at 2 a.m. Eastern Time. During this period, users may experience technical difficulties accessing several online tools, including Check My Case Status, e-request, change of address online, check case processing times, civil surgeon locator, office locator, file online, My USCIS online account, and the service request management tool. Finally, DHS announced that on 29 January 2025, President Trump signed his first piece of legislation into law, the Laykin-Riley Act, which mandates the federal detention of undocumented individuals who are accused of theft, burglary, assaulting a law enforcement officer, and any crime that accuses death or serious bodily injury.